current.
I just started recording.
Got it. So we'll be focusing on the current shift into digitalization and how the creative minds are trying to make money out of, or make a living actually, because money is dependent on value. So making living out of their intellectual property and their creative processes that involves collaboration and creation. Now, so far the current systems have been failing the art community and the inventor communities as well. When I try to join inventors with artists or creators, is because I think we both have similar instincts that we try to use, which is getting something out of nothing, trying to project what we see the future to be through either art or inventions that can help the communities. So I'll try to get into the subject by a presentation, if I can share. And this presentation will have everything that we'll cover today.
I believe you can just share. Yes, we see you screen sharing. It's working.
Okay. So this is IntegraPitch in the second phase. This is after the pivot. I believe when we last presented to Milltop, it was the old version, which was an app. Now it is a crypto platform to create coins for inventions. Now IntegraPitch is going crypto. So before we get into the IntegraPitch concept, we'll go into the Web3 concept. But before that too, I like to take the opportunity to introduce myself because I tend to be the most I would say the strangest in the group, but I got used to it because I lived in many countries, actually around 5 or 6. Originally from Yemen, which is in the Arab Peninsula. I'm a middle child, 1 out of 7. Not very happy really, but you get what you get. I'm not a fan of structure education or nor conformity. I had bachelor's in information technology and fell in love with system analysis and design. After it, I got my MBA in India and majored in marketing and operations. I had 7 years in business development, helped improve existing businesses in Yemen, started a business from scratch for employers in Sri Lanka, and opened offshore offices for a company in Malaysia and Senegal. I migrated to the US in late 2016. I started my first business in late 2017 and started IntegraPitch in March 2020. And now we're pivoting into IntegraPitch 2.0. So before we introduce IntegraPitch, I think we have to have a background on the blockchain technology, distributed ledger, the cryptocurrency, and the distributed autonomous organizations, which we can call the Web3. Web3 came, as per my understanding, as it came after the network was developed that connected computers. Then the software the software was developed to link the information between computers. Now the cryptography is decentralizing the knowledge throughout the network, and that's what's called the Web3, which is more trustless. It's decentralized to the users or the people who put on value into the network. In IntegraPitch by itself, we'll talk about the Invention Journeys, the problem that we're solving, the Invention Economies, and IntegraPitch and portfolios in terms of investment. and the future of inventing. So first off, this is a small diagram that shows the blockchain technology that was first introduced in 1991. It was basically the idea that every input should have a timestamp. That was the originating idea. At least a timestamp show contribution at the time of the contribution that gets attached to the data. Then after that, it developed into data headers and hashes. That means every segment of information had a header, like a little bit of a title, then a hash that would encrypt it. So if you want to access that segment of data, you can find it by finding that. Then it becomes like these blocks that you see here on the screen. These blocks then got decentralized by having them shared in a network, in a decentralized network. That means me and you and anybody else can have a computer that can store the information that comes from the public, and when needed, he can provide the information to whoever requested it. So the decentralization actually gave power to the community of people who store such data, and those community or the members had their nodes and form a community that stores information in the blockchain and got compensated initially by Bitcoin. So when you do store, which is the mining process of Bitcoin. So when you store data, public data in your computer, you get compensated by Bitcoin. So then recently came the Hashgraph. So the Hashgraph serves the similar purpose of the blockchain, although there is no actual chain of blocks. It's a gossip about gossip. So whenever one of the computers gets some information, he transmitted to a number of random computers saying, let's say I receive a message from the this network or from JuxtaHub, and I tell everybody about it. And everybody who receives that information tells everybody else. So it goes around for a couple of times. Then everybody agrees on the time that it first came into the network and how everybody gossiped about it. So this hash graph becomes the evidence of the information. It becomes the record of information. So in the hash graph, what's different is not everybody gets to have a node and store data. Usually there is governing members. There's currently around 21. They're planning on expanding into 39 members who would be storing the data and governing the which is the agreements about which data came first.
So I have a question, Manif.
Yes.
So is this their way to try to make sure that there's accountability and auditability? Because my concern with blockchain is when something gets to be too complicated, something happens, like, you know. So tell me, do you think that's what they're trying to do here is make sure that there is some control and some accountability?
It's partially correct, but also the main purpose of blockchains or even Hashgraph is to have a trustless network. That means I don't need to trust whoever I'm talking to, as long as we are communicating through the Hashgraph or the blockchain, right? So any information that gets into the blockchain, it gets validated to its source. So yes, it by following the hashes or the chain, you can get to the source of the information, and it comes with the ownership and timestamp and the cryptography of it. So yeah. Does let's do it.
Yes, good.
Okay.
Alice, did you have
So,
a question?
I'm sorry.
I didn't know if there was another question, that's all.
okay. So yeah. So through the Hashgraph, they tried to be a little bit smarter. They said, okay, we don't need to have like tens or hundreds of people storing the same data, because it will cost more, what they call gas cost, because it will consume more electricity. So we'll have these 21 or 39 nodes save the same data and agree on the structure of the hash graph. So they all should agree on the time that the data came into the network and how it got ghosted about the nodes. So it should cost a lot less, and it should be final in seconds. Sometimes in the blockchain, it takes up to an hour to have the finality of the transaction, but in the hash graph, you can have it in seconds. And you can also have more transactions per second. Okay, this is what got built on the blockchain technology, which is the distributed ledger. That means you don't need to have an institution between users. You can have the decentralized network. So I don't need to trust the bank to send money. I need to trust the network itself, which is the technology, which cuts on costs of the whole organization. Let's say a bank would charge $35 to send money overseas. The crypto can send it for a fraction of a dollar because there is no bank. So that is what they're trying to use the blockchain for. In the private, DLT, it's as I said, like for example, 5 major companies would run the network. In the public DLT, such as the Bitcoin, everybody can have a piece of computer and start storing data and mining crypto. So in the private, it is high transaction rate because they have big computers. They don't need to run all transactions through unlimited number of nodes. It costs less, but also in the public, it's more decentralized, and people get rewarded by crypto. Okay, in the cryptocurrency, the way that people get paid in crypto, they have a couple of promises that they want to differentiate themselves against what they call fiat, or the real money, paper money, like dollars. They'll say, we will not keep on minting money, so we will not have inflation. What Bitcoin, for example, is saying, we'll have only 21 million coins forever. We will not have more than 21 million coins. Now they're around 19 million. For example, in Ethereum, they're saying we'll have 18 million coins, the maximum cap for every year. Yes, we can have unlimited coins, but every year we'll have to work to get these coins printed, and they have annual limit. So the value of these coins are determined by the demand, which is the more value that is created by the community, the higher it goes in demand. Not the hype that really went on Bitcoins, for example. That was kind of, I would not go into the economics and say it was a bubble, but not the actual value of the Bitcoin. The actual value comes of people who need to use the technology. So the same thing goes for Ethereum, and the way they promote art and NFTs and decentralized organization, autonomous organizations as well. So these bonding curves are really connected to demand. They're also backed by bonding pools, which is like dollars, different kind of crypto, whatever they get in returns for their own crypto. So if we're having here like on the upper side, if we have the Bitcoin, the lower side would be what is being converted into, if it's dollars or Ethereum or other coins, alternative coins as well. So then you have the minting, which is creating coins, or burning, which is destroying coins just to monitor this demand and value. Okay, eventually we come to the game theory. It's part of the economics of the crypto as well. When we say game theories, sometimes we think about the prisoner's dilemma, whether we collaborate or we try to take care of our own selves without, taking care of the other. Here you see the standard prisoner's dilemma, which is if you remain silent, you both get 1 year in prison, which is the best solution really. But if you confess and the other one doesn't, you get out. They get maximum. If you don't confess, if you both confess, you get 5 years each, which is medium kind of situation. But now what's happening is the revolutionary stable strategy. So it's not only this simple, because we also don't have the jail, we don't have the centralized authority that would manage the collaboration. So here we have the revolutionary stable strategies, which is from simple to collaborative, to from simple to tit for tat, which is you give me, I give you, then to the generous tit for tat, which is I will give you twice before I ask you to give me anything, and I might keep on doing that randomly. And eventually, as our fate, which is the collaboration part, which is our fate is bound together, and this is what the cryptocurrency is trying to do, and having everybody who holds the token to be, to have a stake in the winning and losing part of the entire economy. Yeah, this is a good news for the crypto communities. Just recently, Wyoming was the first state to recognize the decentralized autonomous organization as a legal formation just this. And that means that the organization governance will belong to the token holders. Token holders vote on work proposals. The votes are weighted. Whoever owns more tokens will have more votes. It's autonomous. That means it systematically gets approved or denied through the distributed ledger. And the contractors are paid in crypto, ideally. And also the users pay for the service that the organization is offering by the coin. So I hope this gives a little bit of a background of the crypto world, the economy of it, and how we believe that it would help our invention economies. So it all started with one idea that was patented invention, or applied for a patented invention of a fully automated cooking pot. And having an invention idea and not being able to actualize it was the problem that we needed to solve, because you don't need to spend $25,000 to $250,000 or to develop an invention that you're not really sure that it will make money. So people who are sometimes called the bottom feeders, they will offer you the services. They will say, okay, give us $15,000 for the patent, then give us $25,000 for the design. Then how about $50,000 for the prototype? But you will be the one who is taking all the rest, because after they get paid, they don't really care if you success or not, if you succeed or not. And you will do all the licensing or trying to making money of it by yourself. And that's actually 90% of patented ideas. which is 2.7 million patents every year around the world. Now, this is the invention journey as we see it. And we're talking here about the independent inventors who are trying to get ideas off the ground by themselves. So they start by the idea and the research. They go through the protection of and priority and ownership through the patent system. Then the development of computer-assisted design and prototyping. Then they go through the branding and identity, which is all the design and what the invention is all about. Then they try to do their own press and public relation efforts. It's all costly so far. Then they try to pitch to get licensing or acquisition or managing the business built around the invention, just to get the revenue made out of the invention. Now that can take years. When I say years, I mean 5, sometimes 10 years to just start getting money out of the invention. What IntegraPitch 2.0 is trying to do is trying to have a proof of priority through the market research that is done off platform, but then the ownership of contributions is using the cryptography, which we just talked about, using the blockchain and Hashgraph to prove that people who contribute for the invention get part of the ownership as well.
I have a question, Manif.
Yeah.
So proof of priority, I'm not sure what that means in terms of off platform. What does that mean?
Off platform, that it means that people would need to do their own market research and the provisional patenting off the platform.
So in other words, not go through the patent office, you mean?
I think for now they'll have to go through the patent office. And even for the priority research, now you can have that done now on Fiverr, for example, for $200, $300, and they will give you everything that was invented around your invention. Then you can make your own call whether to go ahead with the patent or not. But all this work would need to be done off platform before even starting the invention journey. When you get on the platform, you should have a substantial proof of priority and kind of proof of work that you've done to study the market as well. Yeah, so this process that we'll be doing ourselves just to validate these 2 steps. Then from there, everything should be supported by the platform. It started with the contributions, then the stake rewards. That means people who would buy and hold the invention coins will get rewarded by the increase of the value of the platform activity, and also will have weekly or monthly rewards as well. You will have mass curation in the platform. We'll have a town hall layer which going to be where coin holder will get to discuss ways to improve the invention and promote it. Then you'll have crowdfunding. That means people can invest anything from $100 to $50,000 in an invention through the buying process of the coin. Then you'll have a collective benefits, which is through the demand of the platform that attracts that the platform attracts, and also that demand gets shared through the listed inventions. So if 5 or 10 inventions are doing really well, that means the rest will also have some kind of shared benefit, but they'll have to do their own work as well to increase the value of their coin. And the circumvention proofing that will try to get participants not to attempt to go out of the platform because the received benefits are high inside the platform, and also will have a listing legal agreement that will shift the invention from the inventor's ownership to an entity that will be then digitized into a decentralized autonomous organization. So this is what I really like about the Invention Economies. It shows here how each coin will have its value increased through the different layers of the community. So we're starting with the public pitch on the exterior side. This is what everybody will see out of the coin. So you'll have, for example, the design of the invention, the idea, the patents, the market research, it's going to be all in the exterior. Then people who buy the coins will go into the loopholes, and that's not loopholes. They're loopholes where they can discuss ideas of promoting the invention and increase its value. Then the council is going to be the inventor and major token holders who are either invited or approved by the inventor to make decisions that would eventually reflect on the public pitch. So the council would actually keep on adjusting the public pitch to increase the value. Then people who would buy the coin will go into the loop, and then the circle keeps on repeating, increasing the value of the coin. So the council members are the major token holders invited or approved by the inventor. They can have proposal to get registered in the decentralized ledger technology, which is the blockchain or Hashgraph. And they can be either, the CAD and prototype engineers, they can be lawyers, they can be marketing and sales people, those who can make decisions for the community built around the invention. In the loophole, which is not the loophole, is the less formal way, and it's everybody who's bought a token from 100 to 50,000. The proposal are not registered in the DLC, it's just a discussion. They get rewarded by the invention coins. The awards and bounties and prizes will be based on the size of the tasks asked from them, including but not limited to the market research, competitor analysis, warm introduction, talent acquisition, legal formalities. Any tiny help that can increase the value of the invention will be rewarded by the coin itself. Then the pitch is what we will all be working on, which is increasing the attractiveness of each invention, and it would come from the council members, and it's the exterior layer of the invention economy, and it's visible to the public, and it's what sells the coin to get into the invention economy. And these, the pitch can include the patent status, market research, designs and prototypes, executive summaries, potential and impact of the invention, and the traction it's got already. The traction also can be related to the value of the coin. And with that, we come to the intellectual property, or the IntegraPitch council, which is the center of these inventions. Will be helping by promoting, by connecting inventors with people who can help. We're going to help by the token bonding, because ins and outs of each invention coin will be related to the IntegraPitch IP coin, similarly to Arali.io, which is another platform as well. So the concept is actually working. So the inventions will be inside our platform, and we'll be working to help them to help our coin as well. So this is the future of inventing as we see it. We see that it takes a village to launch an invention, and we're building many villages for these many inventions. Each invention has a fair chance of winning, but also there is no favorites. Money is not a barrier anymore. Creative intellectual property is humans' most valuable asset in the age of artificial intelligence. And the IP coin is just a measurement of how much the world values inventing. And the 9-year journey is what we think now it might take for the IntegraPitch to release all its coins and to have its own economy built around economies. With that, I thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Monique.
Thank you.
So is there anyone else doing what you're doing? What is the competition for IntegraPitch?
IntegraPitch, yes. I think there are people who are doing the open source development part. There is a company called Wiki Factory, for example. They have, I can put it here in the chat. They have shared tools to develop inventions, but that is open source. That means there is no intellectual property around it. And there are companies who are just merely brokers. There are companies who help inventors get leasing agreements and acquisitions, but there is no company that does what we do.
So your special sauce is you're building community, and you're also giving people who contribute their ideas and expertise a way to be paid back with these coins, right?
Exactly. So we're taking value and stake rather than immediate monetary payment.
So what is the next step? Like, are you looking for inventors who want to, what is the word?
List their inventions.
What's the verb you're using?
They would like to list their inventions, or they
Exactly, list their
coin.
inventions. Or is there actually a minting process where their invention, just like the works of art that Tyrone taught us about, that they can get minted to be like bona fide their invention, right?
Exactly.
Like bona fide their work of art. And is it similar that every time that is sold in the marketplace, that the inventor or his or her collaborative team would be compensated?
Yes.
Okay.
So there is a minting process that starts with creating a legal entity that then can be the final assigned company for the invention, which then will list the invention on our platform and have a coin minted for that invention. Now, the coin and the governance of the coin depends on the council of that invention, but we will regulate the minting process and the schedule of the release of the coin.
A question, Manif?
Yeah.
It's actually two short questions. The gas cost is very interesting to me because I know normally cryptocurrency uses tremendous amounts of energy, and that's becoming a problem. Actually, the energy use. It sounds to me like your distributed autonomous approach with the Hashgraph actually could save a lot. Is that what you mean by gas cost?
That is correct.
Yeah, and that's great. And the other question is, with normal patenting of an invention, there's a very step-by-step, very clear statement of how your invention is unique in relation to any others that are out there. Do you also use that same process, except it's done in your distributed autonomous network?
Yes. Now, each invention should start and will only start to have its own economy by fulfilling certain level of market research and priority proofing steps, which is you do the market research, you do the provisional, and you prove that nobody else has done this before. Then what's created is similar to the research and development center. So it's going to be a digital research and development center for that invention. So from the point of sketch or a simple design to the point of prototype and least invention, it's all going to be crypto protected. But before that, you have to do your own market research and patent work as well.
So who is it that you are interested in meeting? You're interested in meeting inventors?
Yes, definitely. Inventors are our ultimate community members, but also, as we did with IntegraPitch in the last year, and we created the community of 240 members, we also attracted CAD and prototype engineers. But those up to this point were interested in the monetary value of what they can. So they're now listed as contractors, but we want them to be listed as stakeholders of the inventions that they're participating in.
Okay, right now they're just contractors. They're available for inventors to hire. But you are hoping that they get to the point that they contribute their services without being compensated, and they get compensated by coins. Is that right? Okay.
So that was my biggest question, Manifi. It's almost like you need to have people that will help each other, like in a sense, a virtual incubator. Like we have in Bethlehem, we have new company incubators that deal with dollars, and because to prototype it costs money, but it's almost like you need to have a community of people that will help each other using cryptocurrency. Is that correct? Because I don't know how you, like, let's just say you need to pay for something in real dollars. How do you take your cryptocurrency and convert it? I'm thinking of logistical issues. Like I got to go get a machine shop to prototype something, but I only have cryptocurrency. How do I do that? But if you have am I getting that right? You need to have a community of people that are willing to work together.
Yes, I think this part in particular has been used in another platform called Rally. Okay, so here, and what you see in the cryptocurrency, you see the bond curve going up while you attract more of the other coins. The more dollars that you get for your cryptocurrency, the more spending that you can get, because that's the value of your coin. That means when our token starts at, let's say, 5 or 10 cents per dollar, then we have 10 inventions, and it goes to one coin equals $3. That means we can exchange at that point and lower our value just to get some services out of the community. But if it's in the community, it's used through our coins. If it's from out of the community, it's through the conversion of the coin. Just as, for example, if you want to buy anything from China now, you'll have to pay the Chinese supplier through their currency, and that's what increases their currency value. But if the same thing goes the other way around, then the value of your currency would increase because they will have to pay you in your own currency. So it's that exchange that will keep going up and down, but such expenditure will be done through the council of IntegraPitch. It's not going to be like an individual decision.
Okay, so what are things that like you need next? What are the hurdles you're facing right now that we can support you with?
Yeah, I believe since we pivoted into the cryptocurrency, it's going to be introductions will be the most valuable thing right now. So if you know people who made it through the cryptocurrency or the value creation and got rewarded through crypto, then we would like to hear from those people, especially in the creative industry. In our Founder Institute, the institute that I graduated from, we had very little people who were into crypto. But now, since we're pivoting into crypto, we'd need more and more introductions than anything else.
Okay. What would you ask our next steps? Knowing you met us a few weeks ago, you've got to know us, we're a diverse group of people. How can we help you?
I think once the platform is ready, the community is going to be one of the first that gets offered to buy into our coins. But before then, just as I said, keeping an eye and introducing us to people who would either invest or help in the building of the community. That would be great.
Okay. And what's your highest hope for your business a year from now?
Yeah, this is the 9-year goal, which is, this is the future that I see for inventing, really. In this year, end of this year, I might have my first granted patent. But if we could see less patents sit unused or used for litigation and lawsuits, then it would be paradise for all inventors, and I'll be just one of them.
Do you have your own, besides this platform that you've invented, do you have other inventions that you have created?
Yeah, this one here, this one that has started it.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah.
That is, the frustrations you had with this were what convinced you had to find another way.
Exactly. Yeah.
So do you feel like the traditional business incubator is not enough then?
Certain ones, yes, actually. Certain ones, I think, especially those which are supported by institutes like Stanford, for example. I've noticed that the Stanford does support crypto that would benefit underrepresented communities. Stanford supports Ethereum. Stanford supports decentralized autonomous organizations. So such institutions might be of very important support at this stage, because when you see people talk about DAOs or the future of crypto economies, there is a lot of speculation, but also faith. And if an incubator does not have that faith, they won't be of big of help, really.
So there was a question or a comment posed by John Paul Morosi in the chat, which says that he recently read an article by a prominent computer science expert from UC Berkeley, who says Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are bunk and have no staying power. Now, this is one opinion. And then we heard Tyrone, and we see that artists and creative people and inventors could be on the right side of the table, essentially printing money, right? Being able to monetize the thing they create without having to go through gatekeepers like traditional galleries, or, having the frustrations that you mentioned with patenting, et cetera. I have lived long enough to have seen, the .com burst and bust. I've lived through real estate. I was a commercial real estate banker in New York in the late 80s. And, I do have an understanding of human nature, the dark side of human nature, and how when a lot of money is at stake, it brings out the worst in people. And sometimes the people behind the scenes, may see opportunities that are not going to be available to us. There might not be a check and balance, even though you've done a really good job of explaining how the community kind of self-polices wrongdoing. But what if there is a heinous error of judgment and this whole thing, it turns out it is one more Ponzi scheme. And everybody's sad, and some people lose their money, and some people disappear with a lot of money that there's no way to catch them.
Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
Well, we just don't have enough information about how this is all going to turn out. It's the unknown.
Yeah, I think Richard wanted to.
Oh, go ahead, Richard.
Yes, and this may relate to what you just asked and our familiarity with the downsides of. In any case, this is really the Hashgraph is essentially developing a community of sorts that is in general much smaller and more dependent on one another within that than I've normally seen cryptocurrency approaches, which are, you know, just all over the place. I could see, we're talking about something right now, and I do really think this is on topic. The worth of sweat equity. This may not have to do with inventions, but when you have a group of people coming together for a common purpose, and people are putting in within that group, they're committed, but different people are putting in different amounts of effort, and they aren't paid in cash, but there's the concept of sweat equity. The more you work, the more valuable you are to the community, and that needs to be recognized in some standard way. I could see this approach actually working to better deal with community groups that are putting in real sweat equity, not having a tax return filed on it, but depending on one another for, you know, all sorts of things like Joyce just put together a design, you know, and we're all in this network. So I see that, not going off topic, I see this as a way that keeps some of the bad side out of it, because who you're dependent on is much clearer in a much smaller group. And of course you could have bad actors, but by and large, I think this puts some sort of a control on it. So I could see other uses of the, as you said, of the DAO and this whole concept. And I see it as an advancement over the standard cryptocurrency approach of billions of Bitcoins or whatever, or millions.
Who decides that I get 1 coin for helping with marketing, but somebody else gets 10 coins for helping with legal?
Yeah, what is being done right now is the dollar is still a reference, right? So if a service costs $500, it will get compensated as such. But if a service costs $50,000 or $30,000, it has to reflect on the same relative value in the real world or in fiat, right? So it has to be relatively sensible. So if you're providing a small design that I can get for $50, I might not want to give you out of my invention coins. If you're asking for $500 in my coin today. But this is a promise. The promise is, if you provide me your service for my coin, and comes 1 year with all of us working towards this coin, the same amount of money that you have received now worth much more than it used to 6 months or 1 year before. So this is also the connected fate kind of promise, that if you start working for this invention, the more value it gets, the more reward that you personally or individually will have as well.
But is it the inventor, the entrepreneur, who decides how many coins each contributor gets?
Yeah, this is it comes to the council that it should be developed eventually, which is the inventor plus the major players let's say if the inventor and the CAD and prototype engineers think that this service is not worth, let's say, 50 coins, it's worth 500 coins, they can either do a prize or like a bounty for this amount of coins and have the community work to achieve it. If they believe, well, we can spend dollars now and save on our coins, they can do so as well. So the council would keep on listing prizes, bounties, or rewards based on the current situation of their coin and the current value of their coin.
Okay, so we are now moments away from the end of our formal presentation. I see that Amy Baker has sent a message saying that she's on her way out. So if she's still listening in, thank you for joining us. Are there any other quick questions before we segue into our hanging out time where we could still talk about this? I'm going to stop our recording.